Hello and welcome to the Needs Languages Week 3, the combos. I'm really glad you're here today. I'm hoping that last week went really well for you, or the last lesson went really well for you. I'm going to briefly go over the three. R is right, C is control, I is important, V is value. Remember, right are our thinkers. They're looking for the best. They're really about belief. Control is about the environment, the record, knowing the steps around them. Important is about looking for the prize, very single-minded, and value is about cost versus benefit. They're your feelers. They need to feel something to make a decision. So let's go into combo time. So now with the combos, there's no order in particular. You get to decide which one's the dominant one in your combo, if they're balanced, if there isn't a dominant one. And I decided to do this because I didn't want to make things more complicated. So I put them in the order that would make them sound more fun and easier to remember. So I didn't put them in a dominant order, or like I didn't say C was more dominant with R when I put them together. I just put them in the order that would be easiest to remember. So I want people to really listen to the words and actions of people to focus on what that individual needs are. And what we have found is most people are hunters and gatherers, and most gatherers are RCs, most hunters are RVs. So here we go. Here are the six combos. RC, right control. CV, control value. IC, control important. IR, important right. RV, right value. IV, important value. So let's go into start and describe these a little bit so you kind of get an idea. RV individuals tend to have more of a snarky sense of humor. They can have a biting sense of humor. Um, they tend to be they can be poke the bear when they're done. And they tend to kind of like a challenge. Think about an RV uh, uh, uh driving on a road on the beach coast. RV can be kind of challenging. So RVs are great, and the RVs tend to be our hunters. So let's put an example of an RV. I've known a couple RVs where children will put themselves to bed on their own for their own, or put themselves in their own time out. That's a really good thing because they know themselves. So an IV individuals, they can be a little dingy or quirky. They're resourceful with information, and they can be more of a connector. So the reason they tend to be a little more dingy is because the I is about I's tend to be a little more clueless and unaware. CV individuals tend to be the most introverted, and they can have drier sense of humors. They tend to be more on the drier side, and they're more likely to keep a routine, and they tend to like to be behind the scenes. IR individuals tend to stand out and be a little more colorful a lot of times. They tend to be the most extroverted and have high energy. People will say that they are also a little more clueless in a lot of ways. IC individuals tend to have a clear sense of self and tend to create sometimes they can create a following, and they are really about the outward. Everything is outside of themselves. RCs, now these are your gatherers. These individuals tend to speak their mind, and they can be very strong individuals, but not always. Sometimes they have a very sadistic sense of humor. So again, most people are hunters and gatherers, and this is just some of the descriptions that you can get. And you can say which one kind of falls more me, which one falls my children. Again, we gave the individuals and we're giving a little bit of the combos, and it's really sitting down and putting it together and discovering it, really thinking about it, putting the patterns together. So remember, each one is valid and crucial in our world, and they all work together. And it is very vital that they all are balanced and work together. Recently, I was in a room where we had all six and we all worked together, and it was amazing. And you can have the same experience with working with your kids. So we've gone over that. RCs and RVs are the hunters and gatherers, and most people are RVs and RCs. However, there are things that make them more unique, like adding love languages in, adding VACT in. You can add Gretchen Rubin's model in, and that will add a little more flavor to the recipe of who we are. So I have had two male multipools, and both multipools, are they the same? No, but the pattern of them being multipools is the same. So what that means is they can still be RVs, but things will be a little different. Maybe their love language is different. Maybe the way they see the best is different. Maybe the way they see a cost is different. That is what I mean by different. Most people process the world through R, which is thinking down to feeling. And I believe there's a reason for this. When people process this way, it is easier to manifest and create things. People who can do this tend to be more innovative and problem solving. My next point, those who do not process or speak are have more challenging time fitting in this world and have to find ways to connect. And I will talk more about connection in lesson 5. No matter how you process, you are unique and amazing. To help you discover, I'm going to list a few famous people that we believe are processing RC, IR, and RV. So Melinda Gates, RC, Ava DuVernay, RC, Kamala Harris, RC, Oprah Winfrey, RC, Samuel L. Jackson, RC, Billie Eilish, RV, Jimmy Fallon, RV, Owen Wilson, RV, Johnny Depp, RV, Donald Trump, IR. Donald Trump is IR. He's speaking a lot of IR. This is what we have observed speak these particular needs language. This will give you an idea of the vastness, yet patterns that are out there. Lori Daybell, IR, add her in there too. We have found that it can take time and practice to recognize the patterns, so be patient with yourself and others. Please come at this in observing and learning how to communicate better with the other party, with your children. So here's the homework for the next lesson. I want you to journal and start thinking about the definitions of each. Which one are you? And did this lesson give you an idea of what your kids' needs languages are? If so, what do you think about your kids' needs languages are, and how can you foster more belonging around that? Do you have a connection with your kids' needs languages? Are you the opposite or the same? Are the same in alignment? In lesson 5, we will talk more about opposite languages, and it isn't good or bad. It is learning how to navigate. Is there something you like about your particular needs languages? Is there something you like about your kids' needs languages? So please look over these questions before continuing to the next lesson. We ask this because lessons build on each other. Until next time, be well, be safe, be happy. Bye for now.